We are continuing to talk about the top 5 performances in NAIA football during the 2022 season, and we are continuing on into the postseason. Good evening. I'm Joey McWilliams here on Midwest Sportsnet. Let's talk about the top 5 performances. Who do you think should be in our top 5 performances list? We'll give you an opportunity to talk about that. Put it in the comments section. Let us know from where you are watching tonight and who you think our top 5 should list, who should be on that list. Let's go ahead and go beyond the 5 right now, and let's talk about the bowl game. That was on a Friday night this weekend, the Victory Bowl in Waxahachie, Texas, sponsored by the NCCAA, had a couple of NAIA teams in it, as Olivet Nazarene and Sagu were competing in this one, and the Tigers from Olivet Nazarene come away with a 21-16 victory on a cold night in Waxahachie. Now, I was there for that game. I will tell you it was cold, and I know, saying that, it was not anywhere near as cold in the low 40s and upper 30s as it was elsewhere across the country in the playoffs on Saturday. But it was a chilly night in Waxahachie. Olivet Nazarene with a 21-16 victory. Oscar Grimaldo had 4 tackles in the game, 4 pass breakups, and 1 pick six. Now, his interception was returned 47 yards for a touchdown. This happened with 4 minutes and 41 seconds left to go in the second quarter, and it proved to be the game winner. 21-3 Olivet Nazarene up on Sagu at that point. The Lions got a couple of touchdowns in the second half. It was not enough. Olivet Nazarene with the victory. Its 6th victory in the Victory Bowl, and that means that it now has the record for most victories in that NCCAA-sponsored event. We continue going beyond the 5, and we bring you to Arizona Christian, where Maurice Roquette had a good second and third quarter in the game against Morningside. Now, the top team in the country, playing at home in Sioux City, did hold serve, came away with the victory. We'll talk a little bit more about Morningside's play in just a moment, but it was a windy day in Sioux City. As a matter of fact, neither team scored when it did not have the wind at its back. Morningside got 21 points in the first quarter, didn't score again until the fourth quarter when it had the wind once again. The second and third quarters, Arizona Christian couldn't move the ball really that much in the second quarter, couldn't convert. In the third quarter, 3 touchdowns, no extra points on the first or second, an opportunity to go for 2. Couldn't tell if it was a mishandled play for the point after attempt or if it was designed 2-point conversion. Either way, still comes up short. Arizona Christian trailed 21-18 after 3. Morningside got 2 more touchdowns in the fourth. And again, we'll talk about Morningside, but how about Maurice Roquette? When he had the wind at his back, he was very, very good. 10 receptions for 132 yards and a touchdown. Also did a pretty good job running the ball as well. Maurice Roquette, Arizona Christian, going beyond the 5, good performance for him. How about Kaiser versus Bethel? Now, this proved to be the only upset of the day. And if you've seen Kaiser play this year and you followed them, you know the Seahawks have been a very good team. The 8-3 record is deceiving. The 3 losses coming to NCAA Division I, NCAA Division II, to last year's national runners-up, and another Division II team. So 8-0 against NAIA opponents, going up against 11-0 Bethel. Bethel had a 17-7 lead, but it just did not hold true. 17-7 going into the fourth quarter. It was a big fourth quarter for Kaiser. Shea Spencer, 11 for 15 passing on the day, 211 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And Jaden Meisinger, in place of Marquise Burgess, picks up the day, a workhorse, 28 carries, 166 yards, 1 touchdown for him. Now, I don't want to leave Bethel behind because Joaquin Collazo III, 17 for 32 passing, 254 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Bethel had a fantastic season. It just didn't go any farther. By the way, Davius Prather, the recipient of both those touchdown passes from Collazo, 7 receptions for 126 yards as well. J.D. Dixon with 7 receptions and 112 yards. Continuing beyond the 5, one more, as you may want to let me know, who do you think should be in the top 5? Well, we'll find out. It was an interesting day at Lindsey Wilson, and the Blue Raiders were up 23-0 with 7 minutes and 4 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, and looked like they were running away with this game. Luke Bowman had 9 tackles on the day and a 95-yard interception returned for a touchdown, the pick six, which proves to be the game winner. But it didn't look like that for a little bit. It seemed like that maybe so for Lindsey Wilson's fans. You're up 23-0. Midway through the fourth quarter, past that midway point, looking good. did not turn out that way necessarily. Hunter Arders and Reinhardt decided, hey, we want to keep this game going a little bit further. Hunter Arders to David Friedberg, 55 yards and a touchdown. They go for 2. They get it. 23-8 the score. Next, Hunter Arders to Kamanta Stokta, 7-yard touchdown pass. They go for 2. They get it. 23-16. They're within a score. Late in the fourth quarter, Hunter Arders to Lewis Morris, 11-yard touchdown. Complete. 17 seconds left. They attempt the extra point. They get the extra point. This is tied at 23-all. We're going to overtime, but wait. Lindsey Wilson had too many men on the field. So they decided to take the extra point off the board. They were a little bit closer to the goal line. They're going to go for 2 and were stopped 1 yard short. Lindsey Wilson preserves the victory 23-22 after points were literally taken off the board. Hunter Arders, by the way, for Reinhardt, 20 for 37 passing, 268 yards through the air, 3 touchdown passes, had a couple of interceptions early in the game, and that really made the difference right there. But Lindsey Wilson will advance. They survive and advance. The Blue Raiders will move on. Now let's go to the top 5, and let me see if my top 5 were your top 5. How's that look? Good day for Indiana Wesleyan as the Wildcats get their first NAIA playoff victory and their first real NAIA playoff appearance. And Darian Williams on a snowy day in Marion with 33 carries, 178 yards, and 1 touchdown run. Indiana Wesleyan, a moderate score, but enough to get the victory over a team in its first appearance in the NAIA playoffs. Indiana Wesleyan 14-7 over Avila. Congratulations to both those teams, by the way, for making it. Number 2 on our list has to be Morningside, and it has to be Ryan Cole. I like the number 44. It's the number I wore when I played basketball. It's the number I wore when I played church league softball. You're not really probably concerned about my church league softball exploits. So let's go ahead and go to Ryan Cole. 44 carries on the day, a Morningside record for rushing attempts in a single game, 208 yards and 2 touchdowns. And these were big, especially early on, because as we mentioned, the only team that scored was the team that had the wind at its back. That was the only time a team would score. Morningside got 21 points in the first quarter, tacked on 14 more in the fourth quarter for a 35-18 victory over Arizona Christian. And we asked the question, will Joe Dolencheck be back for next week's game? Cale Bird coming in his place did an admirable job. Lennox Brown in there as well. But we'll see how that plays out. Meanwhile, Morningside with the victory, 35-18 over Arizona Christian. Moving on down, Marion with a big effort. And it was 4 touchdown passes complete from Zach Bundelow to Ben Stevens in all 4. 26, 2, 35, and 22-yard touchdown passes from Bundelow to Stevens. Bundelow 14 for 22, 207 passing yards on the day, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Ben Stevens, 10 receptions, had 157 of those 207 passing yards. More than 75% of the passing yards went to him. 4 touchdowns. And again, on defense, 4 interceptions. Nate Fry, Alex Griffith, Logan Blake, who had a pick 6, and Peyton Trexler, who had a pick 6 as well. Marion 41, St. Xavier 7. Marion advances. Moving on down to a game that involved teams from Kansas. Benedictine hosting Southwestern in a cold day in Atchison, and Garrett Kettle was not concerned about the cold. 11 of 19 for 225 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions for Kettle. He also had 10 carries for 34 yards and another touchdown as well. Benedictine 35, Southwestern 7. Benedictine with just 1 loss on the season. That at the buzzer against Grandview, Benedictine could easily be an undefeated team as well. And the Ravens move on. And finally, we talked about this as we previewed the first round matchups, and we were previewing our quarterfinal matchups as well. Both those videos, by the way, are on the channel, Midwest Sports Net. Please take the time, like this video, subscribe to the channel. It really does help. We're pushing toward 1,200 now, and you could be a part of that. So please take the time, subscribe to the channel. That would be great. Jalen Gramstad for Northwestern with another big day, and he has just really led this team as he's come on, taken on the starting role early to mid portion of the season, and has just run with it. 11 of 17 passing for 201 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. But wait, there's more. He also did it on the ground because that's how he's done it as well this season. He is second in the NAIA in rushing touchdowns, 10 carries, 97 yards, 3 more touchdown runs for Gramstad. Responsible for 5 touchdowns on the day. Northwestern absolutely all over Dickinson State, 49-7. The Red Raiders move on. Their one loss in the season to the top team in the country, Morningside, and that by just 1 point. So the quarterfinals are set. Again, that video is on the channel. Please take your time, check that out. And we will also be talking a little bit more this week about the NAIA volleyball playoffs as the pool play matchups, if you will, have been announced, and we'll talk about that here on the channel as well. So thanks for watching this tonight. Top 5 performances in the NAIA football into the postseason. We will talk more NAIA football right here on Midwest Sports Net. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. God bless you all. Thank you very much for watching tonight.